Hi guys, and welcome to Enshrouded. So whether you're a new player or a veteran just embarking on another playthrough, this guide is here to help you choose your new home. I mean, after all, seek home for rest, for home is the best. That's not just a saying. I mean, in Enshrouded, comfort is king. It can mean the difference quite literally between life and death, especially with your buffs. Now every Flameborn's journey begins somewhere. And for all of us, that's right here at the Springlands. It's the first biome you'll come to as you step out of these doors here, right in front of you. Now, the Springlands is the starting biome of Embervale, but it's far more than just a tutorial zone. I mean, from abandoned farms to crumbling towers, right here, right below and right near the Cinder Vault. This region is packed with structures that make perfect rebuilds. Now, this, as you can see here when I open the map, it's located in the southwest corner of the map. Springland borders the dense Revel Woods to the north and the harsh Nomad Highlands to the east. I mean, it also includes the Low Meadows, which is it's kind of an extension of the biome, but since it has its own ancient spire and a very different layout, I'll be treating that as a separate biome, and I'm going to cover that in the next video. But now we are going to focus entirely on the Springlands, and we're going to have a look. We're going to have a look at the ruins. We're going to see what's still standing, what's worth rebuilding, and which ruins deserve a second life, a revival if you will. Okay, welcome to Rebuilds of Embervale, where we're not just going to explore these ruins, we're going to see which ones are worth your time and which ones may just be your first starter base. Now, obviously you can build your own from scratch, but we're very much focusing on rebuilds here, what the comfort levels are to begin with, and very much what the buildings they've given us to begin with, those buildings full of history, full of lore, and those buildings that you can pretty much call home right from the beginning, and for some of them you can call home from the beginning right until the very end of the game. So let's go and take a look at some of the choices we have on offer and what really deserves a rebuild. And here we are, as you can see behind me, we have Rookmore House, and this is my first choice on here. So let's have a look where it is on the map. So as you can see, the Cinder Vault is just here. That's Longkeep, so that's the ruins just below the Cinder Vault. Obviously the Braylin Bridge. And then just off over here, you can see Rookmore House. Now, why would I select this of all places? I mean, you are, first of all, going to have to go careful with your altar placement, because over to this side, resource rich, but you have a scavenger camp just below here. So they can't get up here, but you can get down there. And down there you will find all the things you need to begin with. There are plenty of chests to raid, XP for killing the scavengers, wolf meat, metal scraps, which you are going to need in abundance at the beginning of the game and quite honestly throughout the game. Like I said, you're going to have to go careful with the placement of an altar, because otherwise you may actually capture a part of the camp in there, which will obviously stop respawning. But resources in this area are not too bad. You've got plenty of flint, plenty of stone, plenty of wood, plenty of fibre, and just forward and just round this rock off to the right here in front of me, you actually find access to the shroud, so you can harvest any of the shroud materials that you need. Now, this place does look a bit broken down, and I've got to admit, it probably starts at the lowest comfort level on this list of comfort level of 3. However, this place does need very little maintenance, and there is nobody guarding it. The most you'll need is actually a lockpick when you get here, because this door is locked. Not that it's not difficult to access this place without one. As you can see, it really is quite tight. So you have a main room here. dead occupant on the bed. That's optional. Obviously, you could remove him. Fireplace over there. And then as we move upstairs, you can see... Now, yes, this does have a huge open hole in the back here. But it does have a chest just there, and all of this would be quite easy and quite quick to repair. You just need some wood, some fibre, you know, all of the main sort of starting materials that are easily within reach at the beginning of the game. And also, I mean, yes, this place is quite small, but also expandable. I mean, any creative builder here could, you know, quite easily use a rake, flatten out this area out here. You know, you're going to need stone anyway, so you could harvest some of that stuff. You could even build some homes into the back cliff face back there. You could expand this house. There is more than enough room for a little bit of farmland, although at the beginning of the game, obviously you're going to need to get Emily, and probably not going to be farming too much at the beginning. However, I think since this has very early and very easy access at the beginning of the game, I wouldn't discount this place too quickly. Like I said, it's only a comfort level of 3, but it's the closest to the Cinder Vault. No guards, easy access, comfort level of 3, to reiterate, and I think something could be made of this. Now, you don't necessarily need a grapple or a glider to get here. A good pick would get you up and over the first cliff face. However, obviously they always help. But this is Rookmore House, and this is number 1 on the list. So let's go and take a look at our next location. And here we are, our second location. And this is Peaceful Acres behind me. And yeah, it really lives up to its name. No, it's spacious, it's calm, man. Immediately feels like a settlement rather than a stopover. So let's go and take a look. Again, this really isn't too far from the Cinder Vault either. Now, you may have a few problems when you get here. I think there are a couple of wolves in the area. Thankfully, I've not faced them yet, but you can hear them in the background. Oh. Of course I spoke too soon. I haven't faced them yet, he says. Yeah, so you may have to tackle a couple of wolves when you get here. Now, the comfort level of this place is really, it's quite high, actually, for a starting. And as you can see, it has quite a bit going for it. It's quite a large place. Has plenty of field space here. There's plenty of resources nearby. There's plenty of wood, plenty of fibre, plenty of stone, plenty of flint. And it's right out in the open here, as you can see, for expanding. Yeah, if you wanted to make this base, you know, a much longer stay, you could quite easily. I think this is easy and early to mid-game sort of build or rebuild. And the other thing is, over the back here, you actually have a salt mine down there. Now, admittedly, it's in the shroud, but I'm sure you'll work out a way down there. There is a path. And a path back up again, but there is a very early salt mine right there, and then up on the hills over there, there is actually some ruins, so were you to extend now, I'm pretty sure you could include those in. So as you can see, this is really quite a nice place. Now, as I said, the comfort level, the beginning comfort level of this place is quite high. I mean, it starts at around about 10, I think. Although I do find that obviously, depending on furniture placement, it actually drops slightly when you're in the bedrooms upstairs. And this is obviously the pre-made beds, the ones that already exist in this place. So the pre-made beds actually take it to a respectable 8 to begin with. Whereas the actual place has a comfort level of 10 itself. As you can see, it really is quite big. That's the front door that we were just looking at from the front. As you can see, there is actually plenty of room, even when you begin without expanding. So you're going to need, you know, a few materials to repair this place. It's, you know, missing a wall here or there, easily replaceable. Wouldn't take too long, wouldn't take a lot of work. He says, getting lost. It's not that big. You really shouldn't get lost in a place like this, to be honest with you. It is a big place for a starting one, but honestly, come on, Tal. As you can see, there's more than enough space here. There's bedrooms as well. So, you know, whether you're here at the beginning, you know, when you're collecting up your first NPCs, there's plenty of space for beds and for them as well as yourself. And as per usual with these locations, some nice chests. You definitely want to loot those. Ensuite bathroom. Well, what's not to love? And as I said, you can see with this place, there is plenty of expansion. Plenty of expansion space. You could expand the farm, you could expand buildings, you could really go to town on this place. And I know that Peaceful Acres is one that a lot of people already know about. A lot of people have already made this their main home. It's the favourite to many people already who play Enshrouded. So this, you know, is one place that you really should consider. Again, very close to the vault, but I would say for this place, it is quite large. It is quite a rebuild. If you were thinking of settling here for early, mid, or even late game, I mean, this is a rebuild proper. You get an awful lot to begin with. You get an awful lot around it. But I would say this would need a bit of TLC, definitely needs a bit of TLC, a few materials. However, perfectly viable as a beginning base. So where are we exactly? Let's have a look at the map. So as you can see, I'm Peaceful Acres here. Let's move out. So down here we have the Cinder Vault. Again, long keep. Now that's, you might have to pass through the scavenger camp there in order to get up here. Either that, or you're going to have to go via Rookmore, and there is actually a cave with a flame shrine in it, which is a bit of a turnaround. And Peaceful Acres sits over here, so really it's kind of to the northwest of the Cinder Vault. However, as you can see, it's not a great distance. It's a little bit further than Rookmore, but as you can tell, it has quite a bit to offer. In the area, you can also see other flame shrines and the beginning of the Hollow Halls. You're not going to want to go there at the beginning of the game. You're not even going to get in at the beginning of the game. But again, location. So there you go. That is Peaceful Acres. And now we're going to move on to our next location. Harvest Homestead. Definitely one of my favourites. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I've used this as a base of operations and even an end game base, you know, a couple of times. So it's one of the most familiar locations, I would say, in the Springlands, and for good reason. You know, it offers a clear farm layout, you know, with clearly defined spaces and structures, including barns, a storage shed, and an improved well. Alone with, you know, it's plenty of open space for future development. I mean, farm-wise goes, you're not going to be able to get all this in your first altar. Your first altar is probably only going to be big enough to surround the house, but when you look at all the farmland in front, a level... Oh, I see Wolfie stalking across there. So when you look at this farmland up front, you know, a level 2, 3, or even a level 4 altar definitely covers this, but that's more towards your end game. But even as a starting base, if you have your altar up here, well, let's face it, you have the house itself, you have the barns nearby, which apparently already contains some goats, and the other barn over here. So you have plenty of nearby structures, along with a structure here. I believe there's actually some... Is this the honey tree? Hard to tell. Yep, yeah, you can see there's some honey in that tree. So again, the gift that keeps on giving. More honey over there in that tree. So you're surrounded by them, and also comes with some farm plots as well. So as you can see, this place really does, you know, give an awful lot to begin with. Has an awful lot of potential, awful lot of farmland. So you can hear the rats inside as well. So you're going to have to deal with some wolves when you get here, and you're also going to have to deal with some rats too. So let's just take a look on the map. Where are we? So here we are. Yep, that was Peaceful Acres. Let's clear that. So as you can see, the Cinder Vault is just here. You're going to have crossed the Brayling Bridge, or if you're not crossing via the Brayling Bridge, you're going to have to risk the Shroud. There is a way across to which you'll get to the other side, and you are probably going to need access to the Springlands here. So I would say a glider is, I'd say it's necessary. So once you've cleared the ancient spire of the Springlands, you can glide straight down to it down here. So it's not as close as Peaceful Acres. You probably are going to need a glider, and it's not as close as Rookmore. However, it does offer just a little bit more. So if you're willing to wait a little bit, just push yourself a little bit, then Harvest Homestead could be the place for you. So what does it actually give in terms of space? I mean, besides all of these barns, and I believe there is actually a chest over in that barn over there, and there's also one in that shed just in front of us. As for the actual house, let's go and take a look. Good job I've got a light on. So plenty of space in this place. Lots of space. Again, there's lots for potential expansion. What about a large kitchen? That's if you decide to use this as a kitchen there. Oh, go away. So that's if you decide to use this as a kitchen. Again, plenty of space, plenty of rooms. You'll see the comfort level again is pretty high. It gets to a nice sort of 10. I can hear you, little bugger. I can hear you running around. And plenty of space downstairs as well. Yeah, I know we're going to find them down here. Yeah. So plenty of space down here for expansion, and plenty of rats as well. Plenty of rats. You are going to need to remove the vermin. Once they're removed, as you can see, you've got quite a bit of space downstairs in the cellar. Yes, you are going to need to repair this place. There are holes, there are gaps, the rain's coming in. However, and it does have its own little stashes. There are quite a few chests. Like any of these locations, I suggest you search thoroughly and have a good look around. Obviously, once you place the altar and you've raided the place, those things will not respawn. So I always recommend with these places that you search thoroughly. As I said, the comfort level in this place raises up to 10. So that's really nice. It's like Peaceful Acres in that respect. It raises up to 10. However, it does drop slightly when you reach the bedrooms. And I do say bedrooms. This one has a couple. So we have one bed, workable bed, as soon as you get here. Obviously, these are not the beds that you place. These are the beds that already come with the place. And over here, you can see this is apparently no comfort level. I swear the last time I was stood here is, yep, comfort level of 9. That bed, ensuite, again, occupants optional. I'd remove those, to be honest with you. I don't care if they are dead. Still creepy. I'm not having even someone dead watching me as I'm doing my business. As you can see, plenty of potential in this place. Nice big rooms. Fireplaces already installed. Plenty of beds. Comfort level of 6 only on this one. However, it comes already with beds, and already you can see the potential. You could fit quite a few beds in here for those other NPCs you get. However, you are going to need to repair this place. Also, you can see it also has an attic up the top here. So this really is quite a large place. definitely a place for those people who are thinking about using this for expansion, and definitely potentially a place to settle from low to mid game. Another chest at the back there. So this place has quite a bit to offer. Like I said though, quite a bit of repair to go on. I'd also say if you're thinking of stopping here, it's going to be a little bit resource intensive. So you're definitely going to need to get some of those. And I would also say that I think that's timber, it's a half timber brick block I think they've used. You may not pick that up till one of the carpenter's missions, so trying to repair it exactly back to how it is may take you some time. So this is definitely going to take some work. However, I think with the ability to expand and level 4 altar, yeah, this place could not only be your home, but could also be a home for a group of people, or even for a solo player and NPCs. There you go. That is Harvest Homestead. And this leads us on to our next place. Oh, and goats as well, if you could capture those and tame those. You won't do that until you've got Emily and the quest has started, but plenty of field space. Now, while this field space belongs to Harvest Homestead, an ambitious builder may in actual fact decide to allocate 2 altars. After all, Harvest Homestead, and right next door to it here we have Woodgard. Now, Woodgard is also a familiar place. I've rebuilt Woodgard into a small town, and I know several other people have also done so. Their videos are out too, and I highly recommend checking out any of those videos to see what you can make of Woodgard. Now, Woodgard definitely has plenty of space here. As you can tell, if people have built towns here, then they really have used it and really expanded outwards. Now I'm gonna one sole occupant in the cathedral. As you can see here, this is going to take an awful lot of rebuilding, and also you're going to find it very hard to rebuild down the bottom here, mostly because, well, you cannot build in Shroud. So if you were thinking, oh look, I've got my own crypt, I've got my own place, no, unless they suddenly make it so that you can build in the Shroud, no. So you definitely have a lot of space. However, you will not be building down there or necessarily over the Shroud. However, you have more than enough space up here, and this in actual fact is where your existing beds are to begin with, at least. So if we go over here, you can see comfort level of, oh, I did see a comfort level of 8, which has just disappeared. Alright, fine, I see. But we do have a second bed over here, he says, rushing around. Nope, it is this one. Obviously, you're probably going to want to remove the person. However, comfort level of 7 for this bed. Again, that's, you know, not as high as Peaceful Acres, say, or Harvest Homestead. However, still quite respectable, a comfort level of 7. And of course, that's just where it starts. That's not what you can make of it. Also, this place, wonderful rebuild project. And you could say many layered here, as you can see. When you come up, you can see that it has its own towers, and from up here you can see quite a distance, which is very nice. And as usual, I recommend searching around this place because it has quite a few secrets. As you can tell, I've already been along here at some point. There's another chest up here. Wonderful views. View of the Shroud there. However, let's drop down and yeah, let's go careful with this drop, shall we? Yeah, I've done that before and accidentally crashed down to the floor. Glad I didn't do that this time. although I'm sure it would have been very amusing for everybody. As you can see, plenty of space to expand, plenty of space for buildings. I would obviously highly recommend that you make use of the area. If, however, you're a starting level character and thinking of starting here, not only do you have a respawn zone there, but nighttime, of course. Well, that's fine. You have this wonderful place over here. Now, this is going to take quite a bit of rebuilding. Again, these are all rebuilds anyway. However, some require a little more attention than others. And this is one of those places that I would say requires some attention. Not only is the church considerably broken down, in order to rebuild that, very, very material intensive. This little house here has quite a bit going for it. It actually has some farm plots outside this house as well. And it comes with its own little balcony. That looks so nice. And I know the shroud's deadly, but it does look, well, that's blue shroud, so it's not quite deadly. However, lovely view. Lovely night lights. But this is, as I said, you're going to need to clear this. And you're going to need to rebuild it as well. You can see it has even its own farm plots out here on the balcony. More rooms off to the side here. See, comfort level 11 in here. I suppose you could always sleep in the bathroom. You're like a drunken Saturday night out. Wake up in the bathroom. Now, these bunk beds, unfortunately, you can't use. Even though it says comfort level 9 there. So, as I said, the only existing beds to begin with here are actually over in the church over there. Now, as I said, this is right next to Harvest Homestead. So, we'll take a quick look on the map regardless. There's Harvest Homestead. Here is Woodgard. Now, it's just as easy to reach. You're going to need a glider, and like I said, any enterprising person could potentially put down 2 altars and have Harvest Homestead and Woodgard and keep the pair of them. And that would make a hell of a project for any solo builder or group of builders. And the thing is, just down the road from here, they have a salt mine. Now, that's a little bit of a trip, and there is actually an entrance, which means that you don't have to go into the shroud. So you don't have to drop down into this shroud here to actually get to that mine. It's actually just further down the road here. And if you follow this road, you will get there. Again, plenty of wood, plenty of flint, plenty of stone, plenty of fibre, all the usual materials and that, and probably a little bit more centrally located. But again, you know, Woodgard is... I would definitely... For me, and to me personally, personal opinion, I feel like this has a community build going on for Woodgard more than anything. But it's a choice, and who knows? Maybe you'd like this. Maybe you'd like this as a clean slate, a chance to expand, a chance to build, and a chance to make this your first time. So, this here is Woodgard. Now, let's move on to our next location. So here we are at Fenridge Farm. Now, Fenridge Farm stands out because it has a name, and that alone gives it character. I mean, it feels personal, it feels lived in, and pretty much grounded. I mean, the layout is pretty compact, but like many of the sort of Springlands areas, you know, big amount of farmland here. Again, very expandable. Quite a few walls, as you can see. When I arrived, I think I've just taken out 5 walls, which, you know, isn't a problem for me. I think any starting level characters coming in, you know, may have a little bit of a problem. You know, not too much, but it's definitely going to take you quite a bit to get here. So let's just have a quick look at the map and see where we are in relation. Excuse all the rubbish in my inventory. So as you can see, Cinder Vault just there, Railing Bridge. There's the ancient spire of the Springlands. So Fenridge you're eventually going to get, because they're going to send you out after one of the NPCs. He's probably, I think he's the first NPC that you go for, obviously excluding the blacksmith and all of the normal. I think they're called, no, what are they? Are they Lost Souls? I think, I can't remember off the top of my head. However, he'll be one of the first NPCs that you get sent for. And it's out, as you can see, where I am just here. You can see when you haven't upgraded your altar. So I haven't upgraded the altar here at all. So you can see that there is plenty of red shroud around. So you're going to have to go careful in order to get here. You can either, if you're feeling lucky, dive from the ancient spire with a glider. I don't suspect you'll get too far. However, you may be able to cross over this section here. You may actually find your best bet is to go through Ferndale, which is on our list. Westcott, which is closer up into the Revel Woods area, very close to the beginning of the Revel Woods area, and then coming down to Fenridge Farm here. So, what does the little place have to offer besides a ton of farmland? Potential for growth? Now, I would say, nice little shed out here. I think it's actually an abandoned village just down the road there, so I'm not sure whether you could expand out to there. Now, you're actually encompassed at the back there. You can see we have cliffs there and off to the side. We do have a nice little well out the front here. So again, that's a nice addition to this place. Now, moving up here. Alright, let's break and enter. Okay, so as you can see when you come in, you're already at a level 10. From the moment you walk into this place, a level 14. So, as I said, this is probably the highest comfort level, you know, on this list, I would say. You know, the fact that you reach level 14 as soon as you're walking through the door. Now, let's begin with the upstairs, because there is quite a bit of room here. Not as much room as, say, Peaceful Acres or Harvest Homestead. However, there is still quite a bit of room. And again, you could make quite a bit out of this place. Now, obviously, this is the home of a named NPC, or at least was, if you decide it's then yours. So there are plenty of things to pick up here. Standing over at the bed here, you can see we're at a comfort level of 16. That's the highest comfort level to begin with on this list. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of space to sort of grow into here. Plenty of room to expand. However, as a starting character, if you make it here, certainly for role-playing purposes, you know, again, it has a name, very much feels lived in. There's a bit of history here as well. I would say a lot of cleaning to do. A lot of cleaning to do when you can actually hit them. There you go. It just goes to show you, you know, how good my aim is. And of course, down here, you do have to get rid of the existing occupants, which again, for a starting level character, may be a bit of a problem. I don't know. It depends how you feel about spiders. To be go away. But once you've removed the existing occupants, you know, there is actually quite a bit of room down here. I mean, you know, as workrooms go, this could fit certainly any of your starting benches. I'm sure Oswald would really like this place. And, you know, look on the bright side. Yes, it does have some pretty big spiders, but that gives you quite a few critter parts. So, you know, let's focus on the positive here. So, spiders, critter parts, wolves, wolf meat, okay? Every place has a silver lining. So, if you manage to remove those, this place actually has quite a bit going for it. And as I said, it may not be overly close to some of the other places. However, if you were to head over to the west over there, sort of northwest, and then head north, you'd get to Westcott. So there is actually a scavenger place nearby that you could go and loot or farm for, you know, scrap metal and materials. So again, I would say, given the farmland, given the well, this is another place that has quite a bit to offer, and also has quite a good area for expansion. Again, I'm going to say, you know, potentially low level, but I would say sort of low, mid, maybe even end game base. But that of course remains up to you. Now we have one more place to go, and our next location I would definitely say is more of a community build, or someone who is an extremely ambitious builder. Now let's go and take a look. So here we are, next on our list here, as you can see behind me, and as I said, this has more of a community build about it. So this is Ferndale, and I've rebuilt this into a town before. I must say, rebuilding it will take a lot of time and effort. As I said, very much, I would say, a group project. If you're a solo builder, better be prepared to put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of materials. It's basically, it was, you know, mapped as a village, and I would say it very much has that village feel. There's multiple structures, shared spaces, and a real sense of community, I would say, is already present in this place. The comfort potential here is really quite good. I mean, the most you're going to face here is a few rats to begin with. Well, I say a few rats, quite a few rats. But again, you know, even the starting play, you're not going to have problems with a few rats. You're really not. I'm just, yeah, I am just kind of waiting for them to turn up here. So, you know, why would you choose Ferndale? I mean, first of all, central location. Let's have a look on the map. So here we are. Here's Ferndale in relation to the ancient spire. So it's to the north of the ancient spire. We are right on the edge of the Springlands here, because just a bit further, really. So, as I said, quite a few rats. So, to the north here, you can see that we actually have Westcott. So that's sitting just to the north. There's your scavenger camp nearby. And with Ferndale, as I said, you get quite a bit. Now you can see there's quite a few crumbling structures here. Now, if you plan on... Good grief. If you do plan on rebuilding this place, you've got a lot of work ahead of you. So these structures give you a good sort of, you know, outlying idea for the village, its layout, if you decide to use what's here. See, we have structures there, all the way around. And I mean, you have an absolutely wonderful tower in the background there. So let's go and take a look at that. Now, as per usual, when you first arrive, your best bet for comfort is going to be in the tower itself. It's unfortunate you have to go knocking the doors off, but there you go. So the existing bed over here gives you a potential comfort level of 9 just here. But as per always with these places, as I say, you perhaps want to check downstairs. Maybe somewhere a little bit warmer and a little bit drier to begin with. Nice chest over in the corner there. There you go, you can see right here we have a comfort level of 12. So, second highest on this list. However, you do have to come into the secret door just here in order to find it. Like I said, comes with its own repair bench, scavenger workshop or scavenger Westcott just down the road, plenty of metal scraps plenty of adventure, plenty of XP. And just over here, oh, stone well to drink from. Yep, please mind the mud around the outside. Don't want to sink into that. But around here, it comes with its own flame shrine. So obviously, you know, do be sure to pop up here whenever you're in and collect the sparks from it. Because boy, are you going to need those. Plenty of them. So already you can see that the resources around here might actually make it worthwhile. Sure, it's a lot of effort. Sure, it's a big rebuild. Really going to take your time. And just to the north of this, were you to expand, we have an absolutely beautiful fishing spot just here. Now this might actually be a spot where you want to put your base if you're building from scratch, because I mean this is beautiful. Not only is it a marked fishing spot, but also you have these paper reeds around as well. Yeah, better if you don't fall in the water, but hey, it's a nice warm day for a dip, right? There's plenty of paper reeds around here. More of an end game item for the paper reeds, but hey, gives you a chance to stock up on them in advance. And like I said, you very much have a pond to fish in there, which, you know, if you want to while away some time, I mean, why you're spending your time fishing when you have an entire village over here to rebuild, I don't know. But hey, if you fancy, you've been building a lot, you've been harvesting materials, you've been working your ass off in order to get all this going, you know what? Maybe you deserve some fishing time. Maybe you deserve a bit of peace and quiet sat over there by the lake with a few friends, just fishing, just to see what treasures you can unearth. But as I said, again, second highest on our comfort level. This also, not necessarily easy to reach. Probably the furthest from the Cinder Vault that we have in the Springlands. But again, could be a potential expansion and a really good potential build for those who are brave enough to take this project on. So let's go and have a look at our final location. So here we are at our final location. Now this location, it's not marked on the map. It has no name, no signposts, and no history given to it by the game. What it does have is freedom, baby. It's got no name, it's got no place. I mean, this build could be entirely yours. The rebuild difficulty here depends entirely on what you choose to make of it, really. I think that the comfort starts at a very respectable 11, I would say. Now, yes, there's a ladder here, but we are going to enter around here and take a look inside. Now, this place, oh yeah, Keen, I am onto you. This building used to be, well, I'll explain to you in a minute when we have a look on the map. Let's have a look right now. Okay, so this little build here has a custom marker because, like I said, it's not marked on the map, and hasn't ever been marked on the map despite its change. Keen does seem to be quite keen, excuse the pun, on changing this build and location. So, yep, Cinder Vault, Ancient Spire. So we are to the northeast of it. Now, this place, you used to be able to jump from the spire, and it used to actually be down here. Now, my guess is it was perhaps too close to the shroud. I've rebuilt this place when it was situated there, and it was one of my first characters' builds, and that was when the place was almost like Peaceful Acres. It was as big as Peaceful Acres. It was quite a nice place, and it was situated here. Then they did an update, and it changed to the building that you can now see. However, it still remained just here. Since, I'm not sure which update, but they decided to move it, because for an unknown location, I came to find this, and it's actually now over here. I had to place a custom marker, and you can get here. There's Red Shroud, yes, sure, but just jump down there, follow the path all the way along here, all the way to that's the Vault of the Hunter you can see there. So to the north of the Vault of the Hunter, and that is where we are. And like I said, Keen, I am on to you. Keep changing these locations. Even old veteran characters still need to explore the map, because you never know what they're going to change and what they're going to do. So here we are. As you can see, there's a comfort level of 13. And as we wander through here, again, like I said, it has quite a bit of space, this place. If I remember rightly, when I rebuilt this place, I knocked down a few walls, I removed a few things, and I really altered it. You can see how this place, with this this kind of bar work in the middle here, lends itself to almost a tavern look. Which incidentally is exactly what I did, I think, with this place. And I extended out to it quite greatly. As you can see, there's more space downstairs as well as upstairs. So you've got plenty of room for expansion down here. Now let's remove this. So you have a couple of smaller rooms down here that you could either use as is, or, as I normally do, actually expand outwards. So, you know, under the ground here, you can knock down a few walls and actually expand the place out underneath. And obviously you have some space to use upstairs as well. No reason why you can't expand this building out whatsoever. So as you can see, we have the bedrooms up here. There's one just here. 2 beds in here. And as you can see, the comfort level is 11. Again, very respectable, especially for a starting character. There are no guards here. There are no rats. So absolutely free for the taking. Now, if I remember rightly, this bedroom does have bunk beds in it. However, it's a shame that we can't actually use the bunk beds. Even if they have mattresses on, we can't use the bunk beds. Maybe Keen will sort that out at some point. However, I would imagine that NPCs trying to climb this ladder and actually climb on the top bunk, they're just going to have to teleport. Because I can only imagine trying to path an NPC up there to climb on the top bunk is that would be a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. As you can see, plenty of room here. Yes, alright, you're going to need to repair. Now, like any other build that you've just seen, you know, there is going to need to be some rebuilding. You can get your own swing. I'm not even sure I'd repair that. I quite like that. I know, childish. What do you expect? So, as we drop down here, as you can see, this area, it's bright, it's green, it's very lush. And this land out here, it's almost flat already. I mean, this just begs for more buildings to be put on it, more farmland. I mean, there's trees here, you know, stone over there. I think I don't know whether you can see it. There's a cave somewhere over there, which is has a Vuka ritual shrines and that in there. So there's a free buff and bonus if you go over there. You'll get the XP from killing the Vuka, and also from touching the shrine that's in there. To get free buffs from there. Now, like I said, I haven't upgraded the altar, so that is Red Shroud at the moment. However, once you upgraded the altar, which only takes a few materials, well, let's face it, you know, you're going to have Shroud that you can run into and plunder and get all the materials you need. So there's a nice little shed next door to it just there. But all in all, this is what you call a mystery place. It's an unknown location, and honestly, a real blank tapestry right here. All this land out the front here, you could quite easily place more buildings around here. Yeah, in fact, you could place whatever you wanted. That's, I would say, that is the beauty of this place. I mean, its great strength really is ownership. Has no identity, but it becomes entirely yours. And if you rebuild this place, I mean, yeah, in a certain sense, you're not restoring the past at all. You're creating something entirely new. So, as a mystery location goes, maybe this is a choice for you. And very much what you'd call almost central. Not quite central to the map, but its proximity to low meadows over there. You can see the spire from here. Oh, and wolves nearby, if you fancy some wolf meat. No problem. But you can see the low meadows spire just over the side there. So again, its proximity to the low meadows means that once you've opened up that route, once you've upgraded the altar, you've got plenty of access to it. But this is the unknown location, the mystery pick. So, let's just summarise what we've done here. And so here we are again, back at the beginning, back at the Cinder Vault. And as for beginnings, this of course is, as mentioned at the beginning, where you'll begin your journey. So, if you've rebuilt any of the Springlands locations, or know one that I missed, you know, please do let me know down in the comment section below. I don't think I missed any, but if there are any that you think are important, any way you built, or any that I definitely missed off this list, then please do let me know. And if this guide has helped you in any way, shape or form, if it's helped show you a new place to build or given you fresh ideas, and you know, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell for more rebuild guides, and definitely for some more biome guides. So just slight warning at the end here: before placing a flame altar, make sure that you search thoroughly. Every location here contains quests, chests, and a lot of secrets, and it's important that you search these places before placing a flame altar down, because obviously once your flame altar's down and you start making alterations, you know, those alterations will remain. Once you've looted things, they will not respawn. And the other thing is that do bear in mind with any of these rebuilds that, you know, this is Keen's game. At any point they may choose to put more quests in. If so, that location may contain more quests or new quests. They may choose to alter or change buildings. Now, I can tell you from experience that if you have built there and your altar is down, it doesn't ruin your building, it doesn't remove. So that last known mystery location I have built at, and it still remains in the exact spot where it was, despite the update and everything else, because the altar's there. So it won't ruin your builds in that respect. From my own personal experience, it hasn't touched mine. They're still there. I could even show you, or you can even look at those videos. They still remain the same. But I would warn you that yes, these places are sometimes used for locations for quests and for other items, so do bear that in mind. But other than that, on that note, all I can say is yeah, thank you for watching, if you've made this far, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing well, and I do hope you'll take care. So whenever you're playing Enshrouded, build carefully, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.